Welcome inside Gamebridge Fieldhouse. Eli Gain beside me. I'm Dominic Miranda, and we're recapping a brutal Game 4 loss for the Indiana Pacers. 111-104 your final. That doesn't tell the story. Man, things started great for the Pacers. Everything good in Game 3 carried over to Game 4, and then down the stretch just slipped through their fingertips, and now we got a tied series here in the NBA Finals, 2 apiece.
Something we're not used to seeing the Pacers in terms of closing out a game, right? They've been so good in clutch games this year, entering Game 4, 9-1 in such contests. The last few minutes just completely flipped the script, the Thunder did, over the Pacers. They, once again, erased a double-digit deficit. That's the 4th time the Thunder have overcome a double-digit deficit in this postseason alone. And SGA showed why he's the MVP, scoring 15 of his 35 in that final frame. He took over down the stretch.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Just 17 fourth-quarter points for the Pacers, not what we've grown accustomed to seeing, no doubt about it. This game started so well. First half into the third quarter. For the first time this series, I felt like I could say with a good level of certainty, the Pacers are controlling this game. They are staring down the barrel of a 3-1 series lead going back to Oklahoma City. The bench was phenomenal again. TJ McConnell passing the baton to Obi Toppin. What a game for that young man. Was all over the place. And get this, too. The Thunder just 3 of 17 from the three-point line. Another reason why this is a missed opportunity here at home. And down the stretch, Eli, the last 3 minutes, just not what we've seen from the Pacers offensively.
Right. They've been so good at just either coming back themselves or slamming the door closed and not allowing a team to get back into it at all. It's what we've seen the entire postseason. That's why it was so weird when we're standing in the tunnel with 3-4 minutes left and you just see the lead disappear, and it's just like, what's going on here? So then now you start to look at a bunch of fun facts, so to speak, different stats that are coming out. One of them was the last 5 teams to be down 2-1 in an NBA Finals have gone on to win it if they win Game 4.
Yes.
So now we're starting to see like these different trends that start to pop up, and you start to overthink things. Yeah. But I think let's take 48 hours off here and let's get to Monday, reset, because the Pacers have been doing that all year. They're very resilient.
Yeah, no doubt about it. This one stings. I'm not going to lie to you and tell you that it doesn't, right? That's that alone. A lot of people in the tunnel, a lot of media members, like, did the Pacers just lose the series in this game? It's food for thought. Let's not go there. But a 4-point lead with 3 minutes to go and then just stopping movement offensively. And the Oklahoma City Thunder took it. Yes, you can say that. But the Pacers gave it away. And you mentioned it, SGA. He performed like the MVP down the stretch. Obviously, Pacers disappointed after this one. Take a listen.
It's so difficult in these late game situations.
Felt like it was mostly our fault. We need to contain him as a team instead of leaving guys on islands. Drew and Aaron and Ben Shep been doing a great job on him. We just got to do our job as a team and help them.
Just overall, offensively, what did you see those final 3 minutes that was kind of tough out there?
I don't feel like we was moving the ball how we usually do, but we'll just watch film, get better from it.
Obi, what do you think they did to maybe make that so tough on you all to move the ball in the fourth quarter?
I don't really know. Like I said, we just gonna get to the film, learn from it, and get better.
Obi, when you sit back and think about this, the series still tied 2-2.
Yeah.
Is that the mindset as you leave here tonight, knowing that it's 2-2? You kind of did your part, though. You're still in this thing here.
Nah, I felt like we should have got this win today, but this game is over with. We'll get to the film, learn from it, and get to Game 5, I think it is. Yeah, Game 5, and get the win.
Okay. Thank you.
Appreciate you. So stagnant in the fourth quarter for you all. 1 assist compared to 20 assists with the first 3 quarters.
I think they played, pretty good defense. The ball kind of stayed on one side of the floor, and it was kind of tough for us to get some buckets.
What do you think, I guess, made it tough, or what did they do, I guess, differently throughout that fourth quarter that they didn't do in the first 3 quarters?
I don't know. That's a great question. I think their aggressiveness, and I think that there were some other factors as well.
Ben, you guys had control of this game throughout at times. How tough is it to come up short here tonight in a situation where you guys had control throughout at times?
Very tough, very tough. I think this is a game that we needed to win, and when you think about it, it's going to be very tough. But we got to focus on next game.
You guys haven't lost back-to-back games. Does that give you a little bit of confidence coming back from this one?
For sure. I mean, we always stay confident. I think, like I said, the biggest thing for us is next game.
Shai had 15 in the fourth quarter. What was he able to get going there?
He was able to be aggressive and get to the paint.
Ben, obviously you're a great free throw shooter. When you miss those down the stretch, I guess what are you telling yourself, or how do you feel about just going forward, finishing those types of plays that you've done in the past?
For sure. I think it's very tough. It's a very tough time. I think that, I make those free throws, and I love, making tough free throws. But, the only thing I can do is to knock them down next time.
Last question for Ben.
Ben, how'd you feel like you guys defended for the first 3.5 quarters, maybe compared to the last few minutes there?
I think we've done a pretty good job. I think that there's always room for improvement. I think that we need to watch a lot of film and prepare for next game.
Thank you.
So as you would expect, a frustrated group of Pacers after that 111-104 loss to the Thunder here in Game 4 of the NBA Finals. Joining Eli and myself now, Tony East of Locked On Pacers. Tony, just your perspective of that final 3 minutes of this game. It felt like the Pacers were in control. The vibes were high. Gamebridge was buzzing. Everyone contributing. And then that happened.
Yeah, everything that is the principles of the Pacers was gone in those last 3 minutes. It was very confusing. They go up 4, and I don't know what creeped into their soul of basketball, but they didn't play like the Pacers. The passes were not there. They would initiate something, get a switch, try to attack it. Very little ball movement, one pass, sometimes 0 pass possessions late, maybe trying to draw fouls. I get the concept of not trying to turn it over there, but it's just so not Pacers basketball that they couldn't score. And on the other end, the Thunder ran the same play over and over and over, the same action. Jalen Williams and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander to get Nembhard off of SGA, and it worked perfectly. And that was great execution by them. The Pacers tripping all over their own feet on the other end of the floor. Just the perfect storm of a disaster for them after they had it. They were up 4 with 3 minutes to go.
Outscored 31-17 in that final quarter. SGA scoring 15 of his 35 points in this game. Also 0 assists. And I guess don't quote me on this, but I don't think he's played a game where he hasn't had at least 1 assist in a game. But this is, I guess, what Thunder fans needed to see from him, because he was non-existent in the fourth quarter in Game 3.
Cooked today, right? Yeah. And that's what he can do. It felt like, they were targeting him. He got tired last game late, couldn't quite pull it out. This time it felt like it was trending that way, and then he just summoned something to be the MVP, right? And the Pacers have done a good job, I think, of defending him in a way that does discourage him passing. The Thunder have all series been low in their total passes number compared to what they're used to in the regular season, in the series, whatever, in the playoffs. But today he didn't need to. He just needed to run some simple stuff with Jalen Williams. They got shots they liked and they executed, and that's what MVPs can do, and why you have to take advantage on the other end of the floor, which the Pacers did not do.
Tony, for the first time this series, I felt like the Pacers were in control of a game and really were taking it to the Oklahoma City Thunder. They were many stretches, they were leading that game. Obi Toppin was phenomenal off the bench. The defense, the active hand, I mean, everything from Game 3 that was good carried over to Game 4, and that's what makes the ending so much more confounding. This team is known for bouncing back. How much harder in a game you felt like you could have? You could go up 3-1, heading to OKC, slip through your fingers. How hard is that for a team, though, we've grown accustomed to bouncing back?
It has to hurt, right? And this is the perfect, intersection of their ability to respond and the moment, right? It's Game 5 of the NBA Finals in a 2-2 series, and look, the Pacers won Game 1 in Oklahoma. OKC just won the game here, but I think on balance, everyone would say that the home team has played better in all 4 games so far, even though the results haven't perfectly fit that way, and that's why losing this one hurts so much for the Pacers, because they would have had another home game and been okay to trip and fall in Game 5. Now that hurts way more. That's hard to have happen, and so that's why this is a test of their will and a test of who they are as a team and what's gotten them to this point, that ability to adjust. Because what are you adjusting to? What did the Thunder do that was so challenging in this game? They just couldn't execute their own stuff against a good team. And I guess you could say that it's on them to find new ways to execute, but I think it's just that. It's just the play better stuff, and that's the hardest thing to do against a 68-win team, is just hit a button and play better.
That's what Carlisle was saying, too. I think he said it's just it needs to be difficult. It's disappointing, but it needs to be difficult. You have to go through stuff like this. You just have to dig in and get it taken care of, which we have mentioned already. They have been able to bounce back this year. They're 5-0 after losing a game. in the postseason, or is it 4, somewhere around there. But now the Thunder, I mean, they're 6-0 now after losing a game. So both of these teams, both really resilient. What do you want to see, I guess, the Pacers focus on Monday night in that building?
Be themselves. You know, that's what it always feels like their tone it becomes after losing a game, is they just feel like for some stretch, all the stretches, whatever, they didn't play Pacers basketball. In this one, it was the final 3 minutes. They didn't create enough separation at times. In the third quarter, when they're up 10, it felt like they could have pushed a little harder. And earlier in the game, when I agree with you that it felt like they were comfortable, but they just weren't quite breaking it open. It was always 7, 8, 9, 6-point lead. You know, they couldn't get going there. They could just be themselves, but that's so hard to do. The Thunder, the way they play, their core values defensively really take away a lot of what the Pacers hope to be, and that's why it's hard for them to do that. And you saw that in the fourth quarter of that game 3 for a lot of this game, 45 minutes maybe you could even say of this game. That's what they'll hope to do, but you never know what adjustments and tweaks are coming. You never know how this series will twist and turn, because as it showed tonight, just 3 bad minutes and all of a sudden you're on the losing end, even playing like yourself for most of the game.
The unforgettable awaits here in the NBA Finals. Not a lot of answers after a tough loss for the Pacers here in Game 4. Again, 111-104, your final. This series is tied. We head back to OKC, a brutal environment. Should be a lot of fun, though, because this is what you play for. There's no doubt about it. We'll see if the Pacers can bounce back. Catch our coverage on air, of course, right here on WTHR+. Thanks, Tony, as always. We'll see you for Game 5 on Monday, 8:30 Eastern tip.